What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? It is Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. on the West Coast, March 26th, and we are ready to rock and roll. We have a packed show, many games, and it's just going to get crazier because Thursday is the start of the Major League Baseball season. The big news is we apologize for everything that went wrong with the Bovada poker tournament last night. Bovada's site went down, and it screwed us, but we are going to be back in action this evening. The poker tournament will start at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I will be ready to rock with you guys, so I'm very excited about the tournament. And the winner gets an all-expenses-paid trip to Minnesota. Two flights to Minnesota, 4 nights hotel, and tickets to the Final Four in the championship games, as well as $350 for second, and lots of cash money prizes to be awarded. So please join us this evening. Also, Beat the Bag Florida Derby edition is Saturday. I won't put the links in right now because we're going to be focusing on the poker tournament today, but I will be popping the links up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I will also be giving out the program so people can get their picks in, but the big Florida Derby Beat the Bag is Saturday. That's what's going on. We have a packed show. We have Parlay Poppy joining us in just a few minutes to break down this NHL card. We have 7 games in the NHL, then we have 10 games in the NBA. I'm going to hammer them alone here on the show, in the morning show, but on the late show, we're going to have Ski Profit joining us to break those games down. So it's a huge packed day of action. Also, we're going to have Maxwell Smart joining us on the late show to break down the college basketball scene. And man, I've been on just a horrifying run in college basketball, and I'm just very excited about it being over, and then baseball will come. And so I'm just scared. I'm just all around scared and having a tough month. But I'm ready to rock. Coming off another winning day in NHL, but it's not covering my losses on the hard court. Man, Memphis just got me right in the drink hole last night, and it was very disappointing. Shout out to Kelly in Vegas, who had Memphis first quarter, first half, full game, spectacular capping. It was fun breaking everything down with that group. We had Drew Martin, Maxwell Smart, and Kelly in Vegas all together last night, and it was a lot of fun, but no poker tournament. David Hutton says, can't wait for the tournament to start up again. We're excited to have you, David Hutton. Thank you for being a part of it. Shout out to all the low baggers, Joe, Rich Ramirez, Dan Kelly, already liking Orlando. Team total over 100, which is a nice look. Team total over 100, looking forward to break the game down. That's the big clash against the Heat, two teams are battling for the 8th and final spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. We have B. Fulton ready to go. Drew Daddy ready to rock. May 9-10 from Alaska in the house. Ricardo Gutierrez. We got Mikey D ready to go. Mr. Gokester. Westwood 21-0 on Sean Watson. Ernest Welsh. Tony Weddle. Jim Rome's a douche. X Factor. Ricardo Gutierrez. Gate Pass Key, Ski Profit. Love seeing Ski Profit early in the morning, man. Early in the morning, ready to rock on our late show as well, which is great. Bada boom, yo, Top Set, Cobra Sports. What a great group. We got Poppy Longwood, Vaughn Polo. Vaughn Polo said, hey, Jimmy, do you remember when I said, why are we not smashing the over for the Lightning game last night? I do, but, you know, there were some mistakes made on the NHL card, but it was still a winning night. The NHL's rolling. It's rolling for the last while. Other than those incredible Thursdays, I had some tough weekday nights. They weren't huge losses, but just losses. But we're rolling right now in NHL. It's just not covering my horrifying losses on the hard court right now. Dan Kelly says, how about Nurkic last night, man? That was very sad to watch. Jim Remy says, not bad yesterday. All value sides to me were Bruins and under 6.5 stars, Red Wings, Rangers. 2 and 3 plus 2.86 units. Great job. And the Leafs offense was rolling. And it was it was mainly a fade of Montembeault, who I don't think has looked that good. I mean, the guy's got a 900 save percentage. They're calling him the next coming. You know, I don't like it. Daniel Hernandez said, Jimmy, man, huge respect for you, but question, why don't you take overs on NHL games? I see you like unders more. You know, that is true. I just like unders more, I guess, generally. I just feel like overs are a public bet. Sean Watson says, need a birthday pick for my daughter. She turns 21. Wow. Congratulations, Sean, on raising a strong, intelligent woman on her 21st birthday. Shout out to you, Sean Watts. Okay, we need a birthday pick, so we all have to come together and do that. That's Pete's specialty. I'll give you we have lots of plays of the day, and I'll give you my NHL play of the day, but that was, the Legend Lodal's specialty. All right, we got a great group, and we have no time for this, so shout out to MVP Sports Picks, Ducci in the house, Corey Jones, Brent Hunt, Ron Fig, Sonny Cruz, Alex Simeon, Leroy Flood, I said already, JF, ready to rock. Excuse me. Alex Simeon says, pray for Nurk. You know, there's other people we need to pray for. I hope his leg gets better, but, you know, there's other people going through. We got low baggers going through tough medical situations. They need our prayers, not Nurk. Okay, let's get to work. Gate Pass Key says Leafs were were shut down on Saturday night. I knew they would roll, but man, I was wrong on the Jets play. Expected a better game from them, so did I. But I knew to stay away. I mean, I didn't have the balls to take the Kings, but I knew to stay away from the Flames. I didn't have the balls to take the Wings, but I knew to stay away from the Sharks. But whatever. Okay, let's get to work right now. And I see in my peripheral vision Parlay Poppy, who will now be joining us every Tuesday morning to break down NHL and MLB coming soon, which is another sport he dominates, and all games. He'll be able to crack down on all games. But right now, I'm going to be using him for this NHL card that I've not made any morning bets. And I have some leans, but I feel it's kind of difficult. And I also feel like all of the road teams, or excuse me, all of the underdogs have value, except when we get down to that final game on the card in the Canucks. I feel like the Canucks, after a 5-0 shit kicking, that they should step up. Okay, enough said there. Kylie Reynolds says, told you Jimmy Magic. Yeah, I mean, I didn't take the Sixers, but I should have jumped on the Magic with you guys. Okay, let's get back to work right now. Parlay Poppy, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday morning. How are you doing?
Cappers, what's going on, Jimmy? What's up, SBR? And hello to my favorite YouTube community, the Low Bag Chat. Listen, guys, I know we got NCAA on the brain, brackets, NIT, CAT, taco fall, whatever. I'm here to tell you, man, you got to keep your side hose busy. You got to keep your main hustle busy. You got to keep in touch with your NBA, NHL, and all of the good stuff. We're almost at playoff season here, so we got to be eyeing teams to bet on or fade. I know the NCAA tournament, it's a beautiful thing we get to invest in a couple months, but you're not fucking married. You're not fucking married to this tournament. You're in an open relationship, so you're free to bet what you want. So me and Jimmy are going to put some plays out and cash some bucks. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing good. Well. I'm angry about my breakdowns. It's funny. I got through the whole season fine in college basketball, and then I've just been destroyed the last week. So I'm looking forward to hammer this card. And I see a lot of opportunities with the dogs here. So I'm looking forward to break down this card. Let's get to work, and let's go in order. Let's start with the Hurricanes and Capitals. Now, again, we have an idea of who's going to be in net, but if you guys know exactly who will be in goal, please let us know. I've got Mrazek versus Holtby. The race is very tight in the Met. Capitals coming off 3-1 win at home versus Philadelphia on Sunday that completed the season series sweep of the Flyers that came on the heels of that loss to Minnesota on Friday. So they're just 1 point up on the Islanders and Penguins. They played the same amount of game as the Islanders. They have a game in hand on the Penguins. They're also dealing with the season-ending injury to Michael Kempny. Now, we don't know if that's just regular season or the playoffs as well. We're not entirely sure what's going on with Kempny's knee. Carolina holds that East top wildcard spot. They're playing very good hockey. Canes are coming off a 2-1 overtime win at home over Montreal on Sunday. This will be the first game of a home-and-home series between Washington and Carolina, so we can keep an eye on that. That ends Thursday in Carolina. Carolina's completely healthy. They have their eyes set on the playoffs. And, Poppy, if I was getting a bigger road line, I would take them. But at just plus 113, plus 115, now it opened at plus 127 at BetOnline. I don't think that's enough to take a shot with them personally. I'd love to hear your breakdown. I'm certainly not going to take the Capitals at this point. The total is at 6, and I feel like this will have a playoff-type atmosphere, and I'm not sure if I want to take the over. I guess, in all honesty, I'd probably be leaning towards the under, but want to hear what you have to say on this opening game, Parlay Poppy.
Yeah, this is a big game for most, for the East as well as both teams. I mean, this is a pretty evenly matched series. They're 2-2 split in the last year or so. And the way that Mrazek is playing right now is unreal. I know he has had a couple blips, but man, this guy is lights out right now. The side that I lean more so is to an under. The thing that puts me off a little bit is that historically, Holtby has been pretty bad against these Hurricanes. 20 goals in the last 5 games. Also, the Capitals, they have a bad power play defense at home. And Carolina on the road, they got the 3rd best power play opportunity. They get the most chances. So that kind of bucks towards an over. But considering how important this game is, considering divisionally, Carolina is 3-8 away visiting divisional foes. The way Mrazek's playing, I definitely have to lean an under. This is a playoff-like game, so we definitely should expect something tighter, but you never know. in these wild games. We saw some crazy stuff last night. I kind of expect it to continue, but Carolina's got to get this game. Much more important. They're a couple points above the third or fourth and fifth seeds, and this is more of a win for them. I'm off a side. I will lean towards an under, but I don't have a play on this one here.
Either do I. I don't feel like we have enough of an angle here. Rico Money saying 4 or 5 have been low scoring, under 6. I guess that would be a move that makes sense. But again, let's just see what we get, because it looks like it's pretty even here. Let's start to look here. Yeah, you're getting a plus 100 at 5 dimes, plus 100 at Bet Online. That is sort of appealing. And I guess that's the most appealing angle right now. But I'm not going to make a move. I'll just write that as a lean. Let's keep rolling here. Now we have Islanders at Blue Jackets. Heavily juiced to the under. Minus 140 at 5.5 at Pinnacle. Minus 140 at Bovada as well. And minus 135s everywhere else. Let's take a quick look at the money lines as well here at SBRodds.com. And Columbus is a big favorite. And you know what? To me, that's too big of a favorite. Greiss is playing very well. I expect Greiss to be in goal. He's got great numbers. He shut out this Jackets team twice already this year. Let's break it down a little further. Oh, and back just to the spot I just wanted to touch on with the totals in the Hurricanes-Capitals game. We are dealing with a Capitals penalty kill that's 24th in the league, but can't be abused by the 25th ranked power play Carolina has. And then Hurricanes do have the penalty killing, 7th ranked, 81.7%, to possibly slow down this Capitals power play. That makes it even more appealing. I'm almost going to make a move on that under in Hurricanes Capitals. Almost going to make a move on it. Okay, let's talk more. I think I will, Poppy, but I'm very close to making a move on it. Okay, Jin Rummy is spectacular at getting on these totals early. I'm sure he got on this yesterday. He's on the under 5.5 in Islanders Blue Jackets, so he's already beaten that line move by 25 cents. Just spectacular work, Jin Rummy. Very, very impressive. Islanders coming off 2-0 home shutout of the Coyotes on Sunday night. That completed a sweep of their back-to-back, and it was an impressive back-to-back, and they were playing poorly because of injuries, and we faded them easily, minus 1.5 with the Canadiens when the Canadiens won 4-0. But they're healthy. Everybody's back except Valtteri Filppula. So they got Clutterbuck back, but most importantly, they got Johnny Boychuk back. So the wins came after a 4-game stretch in which they went 1-3-0, where outscored 13-4. Now they're just 1 point behind the Capitals in the Met. Greiss has earned the wins in all 3 games against the Blue Jackets this season while giving up just 2 goals on 92 shots. He's and Filppula, the only player on the Islanders injury report. Jackets snapped a 3-game losing streak, winning 5-0 in Vancouver on Sunday night. I watched that game. It was the worst game Vancouver's played all year. Second half of back-to-back. It was a very passionate game in Calgary the night before. And the Jackets shouldn't be looked at as turning a corner, I don't think, just because they beat up on this bad Canucks team that I'm hoping will lose out. I was cheering every Jackets goal. We won a top 5 pick in the NHL. We got a defenseman on the Giants that is spectacularly. He's just going to be a huge, huge future star. But I'll talk about him later. Let's not talk about him now. Okay, Blue Jackets host the Canadiens on Thursday night. So a win over the Islanders would ensure Columbus at least playing for a share of the second wildcard spot when Montreal arrives. Foligno isn't likely to play on Saturday. He's still out for personal reasons, and I just hope it doesn't have to do with his daughter and her heart surgeries that she's been going through. And we don't know why Foligno's gone, but prayers out to the Foligno family and that's probably what's going on. Ryan Murray's still out indefinitely with an upper body injury. He's been sidelined for a month. So Murray hurts not having him on defense, and it hurts not having their captain in the dressing room, and it hurts having to travel from Vancouver back to Columbus to play an Islanders team that's playing great hockey right now. To me, I see the Islanders having value right now. What do you think about this spot, Poppy?
Absolutely. Just to go back on that Washington spot, if that number is still at 6 and Washington's becoming more of a favorite, I expect the team total for Washington to be around 3.5. And if you can get that at like minus 130 or less, I think that's a play that I will 100% be on. I'm not sure where that's going to go, but I do lean that way, Jim. But back to this Islanders game. I mean, I said before for a month or so, this is Blue Jackets team. I'm not buying it. Islanders rolling 4-1 last 5 against the Blue Jackets, 4-5 last week under. I saw the under at 115 or something last night. I should have jumped on it. That's crazy how much it's moved, but it makes sense. You got to remember, Columbus is so desperate right now for a win. They're 2 points out of the playoffs behind Montreal. Montreal's going to face Florida, and they should dismantle them. We'll talk about that in a second, though. They're going to host Montreal on Thursday, right? This Columbus team. So Montreal probably getting 2 points tonight, and Columbus 2 points behind, meaning they might be 4 points behind if they lose to the Islanders tonight. For them to be a favorite here is unbelievable. He is capable of getting lit up. We all know that, and he's lost his last 3 to the Islanders. He looked good against the Canucks, but what the fuck does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. The Canucks aren't the Islanders, right? And yeah, he shut him out, but big deal, man. He's still coming off the injury. I think that this definitely has Islanders written on it for me. I think the Columbus team, I'm going to continue to fade them. And Columbus has soft spots in the schedule coming up. They have Buffalo and Ottawa. They have to go 1-1 in this homestand. I don't think it's going to come against the Islanders. It'll come against Montreal, if anything. But the Islanders plus price, that's going to be a play for me here.
Jim Rummy says Islanders are valid value to me only from plus 148 or better. I don't need plus 148. I'm fine with this plus. It's a 142 at Pinnacle, 145 at 5 Dimes, 141 at BetOnline, 138 at Heritage. And, to me, the fact that Columbus is playing for the playoffs, the Islanders are playing for first in the Met. And that's hugely important. So I don't think that Columbus needs this game necessarily that much more than the Islanders. And we know what Trotzy's like behind the bench. I mean, Trotzy's going to be firing into these guys, knowing that what's on the line here. You got Moss says, I'm all over Columbus the rest of the way in. You got Moss, I implore you not to look at that 5-0 victory over Vancouver as a big change. That Vancouver was in a terrible, terrible travel spot, and they played lousy. And with Ben Hutton being hurt and Chris Tanev being hurt, we need so much out of Edler. And he gave so much in that Flames game. He was out of position a couple times. He had one of the worst games I've seen him play. So I implore you not to take too much of that. And to prove that, I'm going to take the Islanders right now. I think that they can win this game. They're playing very good hockey right now. They're healthy. I'm going to take them here. I'm getting plus 145 here at 5 Dimes, plus 145 at 5 Dimes. I'm going to snag that right now. And remember, look how bad the Jackets looked in those games previously in Western Canada. They looked terrible. I'm also making a move on this under in the Washington-Carolina game. I am making a move here. I do think it'll be a very tight checking, extremely intense hockey game. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to take under 6. I'm getting plus 100 at Heritage. So that's my first 2 plays, though that's no longer a lean in the Capitals Hurricanes. It's now a play. Under 6 at plus 100. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. I'm ready to roll here. Are you going to make a move on the Islanders, or are you going to wait and make a decision in time?
Yeah, I said that was a play for me for sure. One more thing. I do think that this game is more important for Columbus because they're not in the playoffs yet, and we got Montreal who's probably going to win tonight. So they have to get every game they could get. They got a tough schedule coming up. It's not like Montreal's, so I'm definitely on the Islanders here. If they're going to lose a game, the Blue Jackets at home, it's going to be this one here.
Yeah, I think I'm getting enough, even though market's going against me. Okay, let's move on to Florida-Montreal that you spoke about earlier. Florida-Montreal, this total's at 6. It's pretty even. You can get some plus 100s towards the under. Let's take a quick look at the money line here. Remember, Florida's on the second half of a back-to-back. They played the Leafs last night. Florida here, plus 162, 165, plus 164. Panthers on the second half road back-to-back. Playing their third game in 4 nights. They lost last night 7-5 in Toronto. They've lost 4 of 5. Roberto Luongo is expected to play in goal because he's so good in his hometown of Montreal, but he did have to jump in net after Montembeault got touched for 2 goals on the first 4 shots last night. He played 53 minutes and 30 seconds, and in fact, I actually think that because Luongo has not been playing much at all, that he's going to like that situation of playing 53 minutes yesterday and coming back in tonight. I think he's actually going to really, really like that situation. Since Monday's outing, Luongo's just second appearance in the last 9 games. So Luongo's numbers are spectacular in Montreal. So over Florida's last 10 games, Barkov, 20 points, 6 goals, 14 assists. Huberdeau, 19 points. Remember, Huberdeau is another French-Canadian who will be able to step up and loves the opportunity to play in Montreal. Canadiens just 2 points ahead of the Blue Jackets for the wild card position. They're coming off a 2-1 overtime loss at Carolina. Price is playing very well over his last 7 games. 4-2-1, 943 save percentage. Montreal is completely healthy, but that doesn't mean that I should just immediately jump on Montreal here, and I don't think I'm going to. In fact, I actually think the value's on Florida, and I think Florida steps up in this situation, and they didn't play that bad last night. Their offense can put pucks in the net. I think Luongo steps up, but I'm very hesitant to back this Florida Panthers team on the road. And just by your introduction of this game, it sounded like you love the Habs here, and I'm very looking forward to hear your breakdown on this game, Poppy.
What I think is that the Habs are going to win. I don't have a bet on this. I'm not going to go a puck line on Montreal because they're so sporadic offensively. And yeah, I mean, the Canadian boys visiting, going back over there, is going to spark something in Florida. Luongo is starting for sure tonight, Jimmy?
No, we don't know for sure.
Right. So I think the Montebolt hype train is derailed, right? He's already shown AHL the susceptibility. You're getting blasted for 3 by Stars and Anaheim Ducks, who are not offensive teams at all. Put me off this kid. The thing is, it's minus 185 for Montreal on the money line. They're extremely vulnerable right now with the Blue Jackets nipping at the heels that we just went over. I think they should win. I'm pretty confident they will. I'm not going to put my money on something I don't find value in. But this is a strange situation for Montreal because they have a murderer's row of opponents left, right? They got the Jets, they got Tampa Bay Lightning, they got the Capitals, Toronto. There's no way they make the playoffs, right? If they're going to win a game, it's going to be this one. But for me, I think the value's on Florida price-wise, but I don't think that Montreal is going to lose this game, specifically because it is the softest game that they have, and it's probably the only game with an actual edge that they're going to have in their next few. So I'm not touching this.
Yeah, Junior Rummy says very slim value on the Panthers, but be careful. Habs, 4th best Corsi differential in the league. I am going to be careful here, and I'm going to just stay off this spot at this time. Noli Knows coming in with his unders. Man, Noli Knows making unders great again. You know that's a copy and paste. Okay, let's move on to Sabres at Senators. Mr. Gokster says Montreal, no way they lose. All the pressure's on the Habs, and at this point, the jury's still out on how they're going to handle this kind of a pressure situation because they weren't supposed to be even close to the playoffs, and they played very good. So we'll see. I still think the jury's out, but I understand people backing the Habs here. I'm not going to at this price. Sabres at Senators. I agree with Gate Passkey. I think that there's value on this home Senators squad. I just don't like backing a team on their first game home after a road trip. Sabres have lost 12 straight road games, 0-10-2 in their last 12 following that loss last night in Jersey, and we were on the Sabres in that spot. Sabres took 46 shots on Corey Schneider. I know what it's like when you're getting a ton of shots and they're not getting in. You get a little deflated. It's the end of the year. You can't get a win at home. Shout out to Ethan McDonald in the house. We also have Tasha ready to go. I just feel like the Sabres are very down on themselves, and I don't know if Phil Housley is doing a good enough job to get them amped up and ready to finish off this season. Buffalo's been held to 2 or fewer goals 7 times during a 1-9-1 overall span. Olmark looks terrible. Hutton will be back in Golden Knight. He looks terrible. Zach Bogosian won't play Monday night. He was off Sunday won't play, so didn't play last night, was off Sunday for maintenance, so maybe they rested him Monday night so that he can play Tuesday night. We know that Jake McCabe's done for the season. Matt Hungwick is also injured, so the Sabres could be missing 3 defensemen for this game. Senators are also coming off a 4-3 overtime win at Edmonton on Saturday night. But back to this Sabres spot, we saw against Jersey, when you're missing defensemen, it doesn't mean that you're going to allow more goals. It also means that your breakouts are going to be weaker, and they weren't creating enough offensive situations. They were getting all these shots from the perimeter last night. So the Sens have won 3 of 5. Brady Tkachuk, 19th goal of the season. That Tkachuk family is very good at hockey. Scored twice Saturdays. We've got 5 goals in his past 8 games. Zach Smith didn't play Saturday because of a back injury, and they're missing Cody Ceci, which is a big loss. He's missed the last 2 games due to an upper body injury. Another thing here is that the under Adam Lastman is liking doesn't jump out at me. I think Hutton is very vulnerable. Craig Anderson finally has a good game. Does he turn it on here? We're talking about a Sabres team that still has a 10th ranked penalty killing, so that almost slows down the Senators' only good stat, which is their 15th ranked power play at 20.3%. Sabres power play is bad at 18th in the league. I guess it's not that much worse than the Senators, what can I say? But the Senators' penalty killing is bad, 23rd in the league at 79.1%. What do you think here, Poppy? Sabres, Senators?
Wow, matchup of the night. Honestly, there's one way for me to look at this. It's a pure value play. Ottawa's won 3 of their last 5. They're a home dog here. I know Anderson's terrible, but second half of a back-to-back, we got Buffalo here. Buffalo is an amazing 1-13 straight up against sub-500 teams in the second half of the season. That is significant. That's crazy. This team has given up 23 goals in the last 5 games. Ottawa's playing a little bit better. I mean, you got Anderson in net, so who knows what's going to happen. But check this out. Out of the 16 last losses for Buffalo, they have lost by more than 13 times. That's like 75, 80% of the time they lose on the puck line. So I'm going to actually just go with Ottawa here on the puck line, reverse puck line at plus 250. Ottawa doing a little better. 8-11-2 hosting the East, while Buffalo is an amazing 5-17 visiting the East. Given that they're just doing so bad, I think this is just a pure value play for me. So I'm gonna go for it here. Minus 1.5 on Ottawa, plus 250.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Do they lower the boom on this Sabres squad? That's very interesting. I'm gonna make a decision whether I take the money line or the reverse puck line with you. Wow, I love it. I think that's very exciting. T. Swade saying, what about that Tampa win last night? It was absolutely spectacular. Says, one of the most entertaining teams to watch play. Kucherov can snipe. Who is better, any of the Blackhawks teams under Quenneville or Tampa Bay? You know, I would need a little bit more time to think about it. But just off the top, I mean, we have to see the Lightning take care of business in the playoffs. So we have to wait for that. But through the regular season, there's been no team that I can remember as dominant and as good as this Lightning squad with so many players. They can roll so many lines. They're absolutely incredible. And they're getting so much out of Hedman. And the Florida Panthers bother me so much because I thought Ekblad could be the next Hedman, and he's truly not been that. Brian Watts says Tampa to win the Cup. Tampa is extremely good. But I think that the Pittsburgh Penguins might have something to say in that series. I'm not saying the Penguins win it, but they're not going to be an easy out. Okay, I love your play there. Poppy. Okay, let's talk Kings-Oilers. Oilers coming off 4-3 loss to the Ottawa Senators on Saturday night. They've lost 3 of 4, 4 of 6. They are done making the playoffs. They are done. They're a healthy group. They have no excuse for this bad play. Kings are on the second half of a back-to-back after beating the Flames 3-0 in Calgary last night. Jack Campbell made 42 saves for a second shutout of the season. Will that inspire Johnny Quick? What the hell is wrong with Jonathan Quick? Kings are only missing Brendan Leipzig. They're feeling good about themselves. Let's take a quick look at what this spot is. You're getting the Kings open at plus 184 at BetOnline. They've been bet down to 168, 16-cent line move on the Kings. I can understand people thinking the Kings have value, but second half of back-to-backs are tough. But they're actually feeling good about themselves for the first time in a long time. Poppy, what do you think about this spot here, Kings-Oilers?
Yeah, I watched that game last night. It's amazing. Jack Campbell has a 93.7% save average on the road and is 4-8 straight up. That says everything that is wrong with this deficient offense on the Kings. This is a good goaltender, and that was a really impressive, 42-43 goal save shutout by him last night. He's a young guy. He is the Jonathan Quick now. Jonathan Quick should have hung it up last year. He needs to go on a vacay because he's just cashing over tickets and embarrassing LA Kings fans everywhere. So Kings, honestly, on back-to-backs are 4-5, not a bad squad. Home team in this match, I won 8 of the last 10. It's hard to even take the Kings away because they're 5-15, right? And Edmonton shouldn't be laying this price to anybody. What are they? Minus 215. It's unreal. I think if I was going to take a spot, I'm going to look. I do like the I do like a first Kings money line. I think that would be like +1. So that's what I'm gonna take a look at here. I'm gonna do a little more. I'm gonna be putting these plays out on Twitter, but that's my lean right now because I don't. Edmonton does give up quite weird. The Kings, and maybe trying to pull something out, but it's a tough look. I'm gonna think about this one.
Yeah, a little bit of breaking up, but we're going to try to roll through it there, Poppy. I agree. We're going to try calling you back quickly, but I agree. I feel like there's a lot of volatility. And Jim Remy says, check last time Oilers were huge favorites at home, all losses too. They're not a team to trust, but the Kings here, it's a tricky game. I don't want anything to do with it at this point. And the Kings are scoring goals now. And do you trust Johnny Quick? A lot of questions, more questions than answers. Let's move on to Ducks at Canucks right now. We're dealing with Ryan Getzlaf injured. Nick Ritchie also injured. They're questionable to be playing. Kyler Reynolds says the audio sucks. It sucks right now. Not on my. Mine's fine. Mine's fine. Okay. Let's keep rolling here. So we have no Getzlaf, no Ritchie. Ryan Kessler being shut down to a hip ailment, and who cares about Kessler? But Getzlaf is just a huge piece to this puzzle here. Canucks are coming off back-to-back losses, 3-1 in Calgary on Saturday night, an ugly 5-0 loss at home on Sunday. They did get Sven Baertschi back from his concussion. They are still missing Brandon Sutter, Antoine Roussel, and Ryan Spooner and they're done for the year. Ryan Spooner close to returning from a groin injury. Levo missed Sunday's game with an illness. He's questionable but should be back. And as I already said earlier in the show, they're missing Tanev, and who's done for the year. But Hutton is trying to come back from the foot injury. He is day to day. Todd Petkoff says 18 of last 20 have gone under in Ducks versus Canucks, screaming under. No choice to take. I'll bite. William Cathcart says staying off Kings on the road, even with 3 straight wins. Gate Pasky says Oilers' first line is just so much faster than the Kings' slow skaters. Tough spot. McDavid line could get 4 goals, blowing by a slow defense. That is true. That is true. Very, very true. I actually, you're right. The speed of the Oilers just trounces everything that this slow Kings team will put up. But still, I don't want to take the Oilers as this big of a favorite. Okay, in saying all that, I do think the Canucks should take care of business in this game. But let's see how big of a favorite they are. Just -133 and -130. You know, the fact that the Canucks lost 5-0 to the Jackets plays in our favor. I think the Canucks beat up on this Ducks team. And they're going to have Markstrom back in goal. I mean, Thatcher Demko looked awful. Absolutely awful in that Jackets game. Look, I'm getting a +201 here. A +205 at 5 dimes. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the Canucks here on the -1.5. I think there's just too much value. I'm getting +205 at 5 dimes, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Canucks -1.5. I think this is a prime bounce-back spot for them at +205. And let's see what Poppy has to say about this Ducks-Canucks spot.
Hey, can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, you're back in action.
Cool, yeah. So I think that the only side would be the Canucks, but I'm definitely off this game. There's too many question marks on injuries, right? We have no idea who's actually going to be in 100% for Canucks, and this isn't a squad that I have much confidence in. And the only look I would have that might be a bet would be an under, just based on some ridiculous trend. I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but on Tuesday, the Ducks are an amazing 0-10 to the under. Vancouver's 2-9 to the under in March. Where's the offense going to come from on the Ducks side of things? You could see Vancouver putting stuff up, but with Markstrom back in, that would be the side. But I'm definitely off this one here.
I think I'm getting enormous value on the -1.5. I could understand why people would be afraid. Now, listen, I watched both games, Saturday and Sunday. I know this team inside and out. When Thatcher Demko's back there, they have no confidence. That was a very passionate game on Saturday night against the Flames. Then they have to come back and face a Blue Jackets squad that's lost 3 straight. And the first 2 goals the Blue Jackets scored were from the top of the circle where Thatcher Demko had nobody in front of him and should have made the saves. Listen, the Canucks let that go, and we're getting such an enormous line because of that loss. And that's something that we take advantage of. And that's something I take advantage of. And I'm jumping on the Canucks here. Okay, let's move on to Blackhawks and Coyotes and finish off this card before we move on to the NBA. Blackhawks, Coyotes. Coyotes haven't made the playoffs since 2011, 2012. And it's slipping right now. They're 2 points back of the Avalanche, 6 games left. They went 0-3-1 on the road trip. They've scored just 4 goals on their 4-game road trip. They're a healthy group with no excuses. Blackhawks are playing good hockey. DeBrincat has completely stopped scoring. Colleton's now moved them onto the top line with Kane and Taves. They didn't score any points in the last game, but they did get 15 shots. Let's just take a quick look here at what's going on. But Blackhawks, to me, seem like the spot. I don't like backing a team on their first game back from a road trip. And I see the Blackhawks here at plus 113, 115. I don't know if that's enough. In all honesty, I don't know if that's enough. William Cathcart says Blackhawks are hungry. Elliot V says Blackhawks roll. Want to hear what Poppy has to say about that. I guess we're going to be calling him back here, Rafa. We're going to be calling him back. In the meantime, I am going to jump on the Ottawa Senators and just the money line. I think that's enough for me. I'm getting plus 108 at Pinnacle, and I will take that. Ottawa Senators to keep the good times coming. Plus 108 here. Senators money line, okay, plus 108. All right, my card's filling up, and I like it. Poppy, final game on the card. I'm leaning towards the Blackhawks. I just don't know if I'm getting enough value. You got Moss says pound in Chicago. What do you think about this spot, Coyotes, Blackhawks?
Well, interesting spot for both teams. I do think that Arizona played really well on that road trip, despite, getting skunked, basically. All those games were against great teams, and they played everything real close. Even that Lightning game, they got some empty netters to inflate the stats a little bit. But the thing is, Darcy Kemper's been playing extremely well, and so has Corey Crawford. I've never been I haven't been the biggest Crawford fan. He's a good goalie, but he's really susceptible on the road. This season, he's still 5-11 straight up with an 89% save average, where Kemper has been playing very well, coupled with the great defensive play that Arizona can put together. I think this favors an under more so than a side. Blackhawks, this style of play is not winning them games like normal hockey. They get better results when they go wild and they do these shootouts. The playoff type of environment does not suit the Blackhawks well, and that's why I think that for this team, it's got to be an under, because I think that they feel like this is the way to play, because obviously getting to shootout every night isn't going to win anybody anything. But the way that I would lean is actually a team total under on both. If I can get a 3.5 at plus for the favorite, and then obviously I will go also on the under 6 at plus 100. I do think that this is going to be a low scoring affair for sure. And considering that neither of these teams have a soft spot in the schedule, and Arizona is right on the cusp of getting into a playoff spot, I think that this favors a very grinded out style for Arizona. Even though they're small, they don't really grind. I think that it still will go under in a couple ways for me.
That's an interesting look. And, I'm hesitant to make sure.
Look at the last 10 games of each of these guys playing. They've scored over 3 times, only 3 times each. So, it's 70% of the games in the last 3 weeks for both teams, they're scoring under 3 goals. So if I can get that at 3.5, just based on the odds that I would feel comfortable playing, I'm going to take that as well with the under.
Yeah, that all makes sense. I'm going to stay off making a move on the Blackhawks. Ethan McDonald says, it's 6-7 on their last homestand. I think they step up here. I'm a little concerned that they step up here. And I don't think the Blackhawks are a road team that I really want to trust here. Take a look at their road record, 16-18-3. It's not terrible. All that said, I'm going to stay off of the Blackhawks Coyotes at this point, but I love your breakdown. Elliot V giving us the final score of Blackhawks 4, Arizona 2. So I'm on the Hurricanes Capitals under 6 at plus 100. I'm on the Islanders money line at plus 145. Then I'm on the Senators money line at plus 108. And then I'm on the Vancouver Canucks minus 1.5 at plus 205, 4+ positions. I like that a lot. Mally Mouse says Luongo in again. Yes, he is. And I like that for Florida, but I'm not going to make a move at this point. But I'm going to think about it. I am going to think about it. I think there's money to be made there, but I've not had great success fading Montreal at home. I've got to roll on to NBA. Poppy, thank you so much for joining us. Where can we find you on Twitter? And can you go once over your NHL plays?
Yeah, so I'm gonna tweet out some stuff later how I'm gonna attack the Chicago game, but with right now we're gonna go with the New York Islanders for the money line, and we're also gonna go Ottawa reverse. And I do think I'm gonna go on the under 6 with the Hurricanes with you as well. So we're on 2 of 3 plays. I hope that cashes some tickets for you low baggers. And you can find me at Poppy_parlay. Always open to questions, advice, bullshit, whatever you want to do. I'm with it on the Twitter game. So thank you for having me, Jimmy. Good luck out there. And hopefully we can put some buck in your pocket. Take care, guys.
Thank you for joining us, Poppy. And it cut out for a second, so it is Poppy_parlay. That's his Twitter handle. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, Rafa, can you do me a favor, Rafa? Can you push Drew back 5 minutes? We got to attack this NBA card, and we need time on it. Thank you very much, Rafa. Okay, let's get to work here on this NBA card, and let's keep a brisk pace, but I do want to touch on each and every one of these games. Let's get to work right now. We are going to start with Spurs at Hornets. And man, so we all saw Jeremy Lamb's miracle shot to beat the Raptors, 115-114. It was interesting if you watch the clips because Kemba Walker was upset at the play, I guess. He turned his back to the shot. And if you notice in the celebration, I mean, I have to look at it again, but I was like, where's Kemba Walker? He's not celebrating with the team. I did not like seeing that very much. And I felt like that was something important because Kemba Walker is so important to this team. We're dealing with this Hornets team at plus 3.5. It stayed there. Let's take a quick look at the total. Now, I know the Spurs are playing very good basketball, and the Hornets are dealing with injuries. Maybe this, and maybe the Raptors are just a bad basketball team. Shout out to Trenton Claxton says, Heat my max bet free money tonight. Interesting. And Football Highlights saying, Raptors bounce back. Okay, let's make this work here. Hornets coming off their 3rd straight win. Hornets are now 2 back of the Heat for the final playoff spot. When the Hornets and Spurs met last time, just put a line through it. I mean, Tony Parker was coming back to San Antonio. You know, he had 8 points, 4 assists, and they won the game. The Hornets won the game for them, but there's no guarantee Parker will be available again for the rest of the year. I mean, he's away for personal reasons. No one knows what's going on. Cody Zeller's missed 7 straight games because of a knee injury. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is in concussion protocol. Batum has been out for an illness for 2 games. So Borrego has moved a bunch of kids out there with Kemba Walker, and he's moved Lamb to the bench. So we've seen Dwayne Bacon move into the starting lineup 3 games ago. He just put up a career-high 20 points, hit 5 of 8 attempts from 3, and Borrego loves what he's seeing. So that's Miles Bridges, Malik Monk, Devontae Graham, Dwayne Bacon, and then Kemba Walker, and it's working. And it's working, but will it continue to work? Corey Mack says no. Says Spurs money line and Spurs -2. Spurs are coming off possibly their most impressive win of the year, 115-96 at Boston on Sunday. Aldridge goes for 48 points. They've now won 10 of 12. They can finish anywhere between 5th and 8th. They're a healthy group, and they are rolling. Raymond Coker says Spurs tonight, easy money. Quinn Miller says, I'll never back the Spurs on the road, and maybe especially after they look so spectacular. Ty Clinton says, what is the total in the Spurs game? And that total is at 220. It opened at 220 at BetOnline. It stayed there. Pinnacle's still hanging at 220, but a lot of books have moved down to 219, and 5 times is hanging 219.5. MVP Sportsbook says fade Spurs. Now remember, we will have the great Ski Prophet on our show, the NBA Assassin, and the NBA Whisperer. Sorry, he's the quiet assassin. I forgot that. Okay. Mally Mouse says no one's going to play defense today. Ricardo Gutierrez on Hornets plus 3.5. And William Cathcart has a great point. He says, yeah, but Boston Bigs were out for that game against the Spurs, and that's why Aldridge ran wild. Tormino says Spurs are healthy and getting ready for the playoffs. They should have a game plan for Kemba. Elliot V says Aldridge eats tonight. Does he eat in back-to-back games? I don't know. So at this point, I'm not going to make a move on the Spurs Hornets. I want to break this game down with Ski Prophet. William Cathcart says, Aldridge went off because Horford and Baines were out. You're absolutely right. And we're going to have to deal with that when we talk about the Celtics game, which we'll talk about right now. Celtics at Cavaliers. Celtics team dealing with injuries, and we know that there's going to be no Kyrie in the house. Let's take a look at this. Boston 6-point favorites. This total opened up at 217.5, is now at 218 or 218.5. There's a lot of guys, and Tomer says Charlotte has no front line like Boston. They're another small team. Ricardo Gutierrez says Hornets need this game to stay in the race. Spurs don't really care about this game. And that's an interesting point, Ricardo Gutierrez. I don't know if they don't care, but that's an interesting point. Okay, Vev, the real liking the Spurs and the under. Okay, let's break down this Celtics game. Celtics have lost 4 straight. They're now 2 games behind Indiana in the race for the 4th spot in the Eastern Conference, which I thought was a gimme. But they've lost 4 straight against good teams. Denver, Philadelphia, well, Charlotte maybe doesn't count. San Antonio. Boston won't have Kyrie Irving. He's sitting. He struggled in the last game. Still got 12 assists. He was on a roll offensively, but he's not been distributing the way I want him to and the way the Celtics need him to. But he did go for 12 assists in that loss. Horford, knee injury. Tatum, back injury. They're questionable. Robert Williams, doubtful. Horford's missed the past 2 games. Tatum and Williams sat out against San Antonio. Cavs are coming off a 127-105 loss at Milwaukee on Sunday. They came back to earth. Sean Watson says Spurs, but Hornets killing us. Stay away or Spurs money line. Interesting. Brian B. laughing at Charlotte. Trenton Claxton on the first half over. And Bev the Real says Celtics great record without Kyrie. Relly B says Spurs are still battling for that playoff spot. I agree. I still think they have something to play for. And Ricardo Gutierrez says they care, but they might want to help their buddy Tony Parker. No, Tony Parker's not even there at this point. So Cavs come back to earth. 127-105 loss in Milwaukee. Came on the heels of that 110-108 home loss versus the Clippers at home on Friday night. They'd won 2 straight before the Clippers lost. The Cavs are as healthy as they've been for a while, only Dellavedova out. Saying all that, I guess the Celtics step up in this spot without Kyrie, with Rozier running the show. I guess they do. Ziggy Ball's liking Charlotte's +4 and liking Nuggets -7.5. I guess I do. I guess if push came to shove, I guess I would take the Celtics to bounce back similarly to how the Bucks just took care of business against the Cavs. I mean, look, I still see, even though the Clippers are playing very good basketball, I still see the Celtics as a much tougher team to go against. So, I would make a move on the Celtics, but I'm not going to yet. I'm going to watch and see what happens to this line and what happens to this total. And William Cathcart says Celtics are inconsistent at times, hard to trust at times. You're right. And maybe what we should do is take the Celtics earlier in a bounce-back spot. You know, the Celtics need to get right. They need to get right badly. And here's a nice opportunity for them. So at this point, I'm not making a move on the Celtics game either. Let's move on to Magic at Heat. A lot on the line here. Magic opening up at -5.5, now at 4.5. Orlando total at 206 is being bet down to 204.5 across the board. Ziggy Ball is leaning towards the Celtics. And Tomorino says Boston should drop to the 6th seed, get Philadelphia in the first round. And where does Tomor said I'd lean Boston first quarter. They're off 2 straight losses. I think they come out strong. You know, I think they come out strong too, Tomor. I think that's a good look on Celtics early. I didn't realize that you were on it when I was talking about it. But that makes sense to me, especially with Rozier running the show. I think so too. That's going to be my first play on this card. I'm going to take Celtics -1.5. I'm getting a -103 at Pinnacle. I think they come out and take care of business early, but do we trust them long term? I don't know. You know what? The Celtics have so many injuries to their bigs, and you know, Larry Nance, Tristan Thompson are the only good things going on with this Cavs team, so I'm not going to make a move on that. Median Anderson says, biggest over-ref and homer-ref in NBA in the Cleveland game. That's very, very important stuff. Thank you for letting us know that. And Sean Watson says, Tatum says he will play. Corey Mack says, Celtics is the play, but I can't trust them at all. There's no incentive for the Celtics the rest of the year. Their seed can't get any worse or better. They're chilling. Very, very, very good point as well. You know, I'm not going to make a move on them in the first quarter at this point. I need to know exactly who's going to be in the lineup, because if they have no bigs whatsoever, we just watched Aldridge go off for 48, and I know that Nance and Tristan Thompson won't do that, but what will they do? They'll do something here. So I'm going to move on. Let's move on. Magic Heat. Magic on second half of back-to-back. Completed a 5-0 homestand. Looked very good against the Sixers. Vucevic was a beast. That was not an easy matchup for him. 28-11. Evan Fournier stepping up when they need him most. 24.7 assists. Orlando got a big boost from Michael Carter-Williams. 15, 6, and 3 with 2 steals in 20 minutes. Don't forget, this guy was a Rookie of the Year in 2013-14. Second 10-day contract, signed it earlier in the day. Miami coming off a 113 win at Washington on Saturday night. This is a rested squad. A rested squad. Miami expects to be without Justin Winslow. Right thigh bruise. Rodney McGruder left knee soreness. You know, Miami is so rested. Shout out to Dave L.A. says, my man Miami Heat will retire Chris Bosh jersey. Magic on a back-to-back. You know, T, I like Heat first half and full game. You know, I think that's it. That's it. And William Cathcart, not everybody was on Philly. A lot of guys were on Magic talking about the market moves, but I hear you, William. William Cathcart says Magic adjusted at halftime and their defense dominated the Sixers. I like what Dave L.A. is saying about the Heat as well. Tormer says Orlando needs every win they can get. They aren't going to look past this game. They need to finish ahead of Miami to make the playoffs. Tormerino says Orlando's beaten 6 straight flawed teams. Ziggy Ball's liking Miami on the spread. Yeah, Miami, I like Miami too. I think that they're a rested team, and that was a big win for Orlando last night. But they're favorites. They're favorites here, and they were pretty big first quarter favorites there, surprisingly. Miami at 4.5 full game, but for some reason, first quarter, let's get there. They're -2. Wow. And you know what we've seen nonstop all year is we've seen these teams on the second half back-to-back start out well. Wow, the market's telling you something, though. -4.5 in the game, -2 first quarter. See what they are first half. -3, -2 first half at Bookmaker and BetOnline. -2 first half and -2 first quarter. Bookmaker's 1.5. Wow. BetOnline has -2 first quarter, -2 first half. Relly B says Miami first half show out. Big Ragu says, I love the Heat today. I do too. I agree with that call. I'm going to double up on the Heat here to take care of business. A rested Heat team. William Cathcart says the Heat are better on the road but at home, but I think they take this game very seriously. I agree. Bosch's number being retired. I agree with all this. I'm going to make a move here on the first half. Look, I'm getting... Oh, that's the first quarter again. Sorry. I'm getting -2, though. -2 on the first half at BetOnline. I'm taking that. I'm going to double up here now. It's burnt me yesterday. Heat first half -2 at -110. That's available at BetOnline. Sorry, let's get that here. And then Heat full game. Let's get this quickly. Full game. I'm rolling with Dave L.A. here. I agree. This makes sense. Heat full game -4.5 at -104. And that's at BetOnline. BetOnline giving the best of both worlds here. First half full game. Full game -4.5. -104. Okay, beautiful. All right, we got some action. Let's keep rolling. Bulls, Raptors. What the hell's going on with this goddamn Raptor squad? Marc Gasol said after that last-second loss, said the sense of urgency defensively at times, we are not that committed to the game plan. I blame Nick Nurse. I blame Masai. We had the best bench in the league. There's a lot of blame to go around, but this team does have the skill to turn it around when it matters most. I pray that they do that. Shadow says, total seems too low to me, going over 204.5. Shout out to our man, Shadow. Interesting look, Shadow. Shadow taking the over in the Magic Heat game. I'm a little concerned that it's a very passionate, intense game. And also with the jersey retirement, that it starts slow. But interesting look. I get it, Shadow. I'll keep an eye on it. Okay, let's Miami full game. Don't get cute with quarters, says Ragu. I get that, but I'm going to take first half full game. I like that. Okay, so Raptors have lost 2 straight. Raptors had Kyle Lowry back from an ankle injury Sunday, 7 points, 6 assists. Didn't look great, but he's healthy. He says he's healthy, but he didn't look great. There's no excuse. Toronto's no excuse for their poor play. Bulls looked awful when they lost to the Utah Jazz. Otto Porter is about to get shut down for the season. Zach LaVine will not be in this game due to a thigh contusion. Otto Porter going to be shut down. Wendell Carter and Chandler Hutchinson were officially shut down. Got to be a get-right game for the Raptors, but do you want the Raptors at -13.5? I don't. This total is at 220. Do they run? William Cathcart says Raptors, they need to wake up, start playing better team ball, going to the playoffs, gain some momentum if they're going to challenge the Bucks in the East at all. Yeah, Tomer says the best thing to do with Toronto is to let them continue to struggle in the regular season, bet them to win the East at a better price. That's a really good look, actually, Tomer. I'm going to stay off this game at this point and figure out what to do when we have... Drew Daddy says, $1 million question to me, will Kawhi resign? No. There's no way he resigns. Matt Randall liking Canadiens puck line, Blue Jackets money line, and under 6. So I'm going up against him in the jacket spot. I am on the Islanders money line. And Jensen says they don't care. They're still playing. They're not bored or they don't care. No, they're still playing to get home court. I get it. Relly B liking first quarter, first half. Ty Clinton, Mally Mal liking Raptors first half. I'm going to wait to break down this game with Ski. I guess it makes sense. They got to get right, but you're not going to make a living on first halves in the association at -8 with a team that you just can't trust. Okay, let's keep rolling through here. We got Rockets at Bucks. I don't think this is going to be preview of the NBA final. They met earlier this season, 116-109 Milwaukee victory in Houston. Antetokounmpo went for 27 and 21. You know, the Rockets just had no answer for him. Harden poured in 42 and 11. Antetokounmpo's been back for 2 games after missing 2 with a right ankle sprain. He went for 26 and 10 in Sunday's 127-105 win over Cleveland. So Snell suffered an ankle injury in Sunday's game. So now we're going to see George Hill, who actually stepped up. George Hill, God, he just drives me nuts. 17.7 of 8 shooting against Cleveland. So we have no Brogdon, no Mirotic, no Pau Gasol. Not that that matters that much. And because of that, they're going to be a little bit different of a capping situation for us moving forward. Drew Daddy says under Bulls Raptors. Bulls will start out rusty, slow on the road here. That's very possible. Very possible. John Lee, you know, that is an interesting look. I'm going to keep that in mind. I might jump with you on that. John Lee says Rockets moneyline revenge game. Trey Franklin liking the over on this spot. Oh, I guess he's liking the over. Sorry, the over in the Heat game. So let's talk about the Rockets. They cruised to an easy 113-90 road win at the Pelicans on Sunday night. Harden needed to only play 29 minutes, which is great. But Eric Gordon, right ankle sprain, listed as questionable. And Gerald Green won't play with a adductor strain. I need to know what's going on because I guess I'm a Shumpert and Austin Rivers can do some damage in this spot, but I'm not going to make a move at this point on the Rockets Bucks until I get to break it down with Skeet Profit. Here we go. Rockets Bucks. Is that first? That's spreads and totals. Okay. So Bucks are at just 2. No, that is first half. My fault. Sorry. Spreads and totals here. Rockets Bucks. Open Bucks at -3.5, now -4. This total's dropped from 227 to 224.5. So I'm going to wait to make a move on that spot. Let's talk about Clippers Timberwolves. We're going to be going to Drew Martin shortly, but let's get through these games quickly. Clippers moving into the 5th spot in the Western Conference with that win at New York on Sunday, 124-113. They're just 2 games back of the Blazers, and who knows what the hell's going to happen with the Blazers with Nurk out now. So Clippers at the 5th place team, they're going to avoid an opening round series against the big boys in the West. Now, Landry Shamet came away with a left ankle impingement and is going to miss a couple of games. Shamet's been looking good. So, again, if you're back in this Clippers team, you're going to have to work with Garrett Temple, Sedarius Thornwell, and I'm sure Doc's going to want to get a look at Wilson Chandler. The only time you want to back the Timberwolves are at home, but do you want to back them with Taj Gibson and Luol Deng day-to-day and Jeff Teague and Derrick Rose done for the season? That's very questionable at this point. Mally Malik in the over in this Wolves spot. I generally love overs with Minnesota, but I haven't had the best read on it, and the market's already bringing it down to 230 from a 231.5 spot, so I'm hesitant. Dom the Don says lean Minnesota at home. Jesse Daly liking unders today, and William Cathcart saying Minnesota plays much better at home, which they do. Hawks, Pelicans. Atlanta's won 2 consecutive games impressively against playoff teams. Trae Young is rolling. He's playing very good basketball. We're going to break down this game more on the late show, but you have to think that the Hawks can sort of put their foot down on the throat of this Pelicans team that's just playing out the string. Wow, this total opened at 240. It's now at 242. God, I mean, why wouldn't I jump on the Hawks here when everything is going wrong with this Pelican squad? Tell me why I should not jump on the Hawks here with the way Trae Young's playing, with the way John Collins is playing, and how bad the Pelicans are playing. Frank Jackson is the only bright spot on this team. They have no Drew Holiday, no Etuan Moore. They're both already out. Elfrid Payton dealing with a wrist contusion. Anthony Davis is probable, so he'll be back. But why should I not jump on the Hawks here against this terrible Pelicans team? Then we have Kings, Mavericks, Pistons, Nuggets, and then we finish the card off with the Wizards and Lakers. Tom Marino says Trae Young wants Rookie of the Year. Atlanta should stay focused even against bad teams. I lean Atlanta. Of course. I mean, why would I not jump? And Drew Daddy says, because the Hawks suck. Jim, I get it. I get it. So we have Pistons, Nuggets. The Nuggets are coming off an absolute beatdown, but the Pistons did look good on those 2 road games in Portland and in Oakland. So I don't just want to jump on the Nuggets just because they were embarrassed, but they have played well this year after being embarrassed. -7.5, I know why people would jump on them. Adam Lastman is on the Clippers. Daniel Hernandez is on the Rockets. Corey Max says, you got it, Jimmy. Fire that Hawk side. I agree. I just think the Pelicans are not trying. And the Hawks care. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump on the Hawks here. It just makes sense to me. Atlanta is at a pick'em here at BetOnline, but that's at -115. Let's quickly look at the money lines here. You know what? I'm going to do this here, and then we're going to break down the rest of the games with Ski here. It's a curious game against the Lakers Wizards. I would like to fade the Wizards flying all the way across the country, but you want to trust this Lakers team. And if you do, you have to wait to make sure that LeBron's going to be in the lineup because he says he won't play he won't play all 9 of these games here. Looking at Atlanta money line. Wow, plus 103 at 5 dimes. Give it to me. I'm going to take Atlanta to win on the road here at plus 103 at 5 dimes. All right, I'm only on 3 plays on this early card, but we're going to beat the shit out of this NBA card. We're going to barely touch on hockey. We'll get through it in 2 minutes, beat the shit out of this NBA card. All right, Drew Martin, my man, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you on these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. How you doing, my man?
Jimmy, late start here, but yeah, got 3 games for you. Quick little slate, and hopefully find some winners, man.
Beautiful. Well, let's get to it. What are you looking at right now?
All right, got Wichita State, Indiana. I know it's the NIT. A lot of people looking towards betting the over, but these 2 teams, Wichita State's hot. They've won 13 of their last 16, 8 of their last 9. We've seen the AAC perform well. Top echelon teams, Houston, UCF, pushing Duke to the brink. We know that. Also, Wichita State doesn't give extra possessions. Their opponent's offensive rebound rate just at 26.8%. That's one of the best in the country. And they also don't turn it over a lot, just 16.3% of their possessions. So I don't see a lot of extra possessions here. And keep in mind, Indiana struggles at the free throw line, under 66%. They struggle from the 3-point line, just 31%. Wichita State doesn't hit their threes as well. So it's always tough to go under in an NIT game with the new rules, but I don't see a high pace at all. Both of these 2 teams aren't going to push it. So I like the under, actually, 137.5.
Wow, interesting look. Yeah, I mean, I like that look on the under. And you're staying off the side at this point? It opened at 5.5 for Indiana, so money coming in on Wichita State. What do you think of a side? Are you staying off?
I wanted to get on Wichita State. I think there's more signs that point towards it. But just on the road with a chance to go to New York, the winner, and then go to the semifinals and play in Madison Square Garden. I haven't gotten on a side yet. I am leaning towards Wichita State, though.
Well, Drew Martin and Noli Knows both on the under Wichita State, Indiana, and that's enough for me. I'm going to jump on that with you guys. I'm going to line shop right now. While I'm line shopping, what is the other game that you are other games that you're looking at, Drew?
Well, I got the other NIT game and then also a CIT game, actually, a little game here that I really like as well. But I'll do the NIT game first. Creighton, TCU, 151.5 the total, and it looks like TCU minus 3.5 right now. Mitch Ballack for Creighton. We know he can nail threes. I think he had 11 threes in their game versus DePaul. But it's more towards the TCU side. The Big 12, they sent 6 teams to the tournament. Only 1 still remains in the Sweet 16 with Texas Tech. So we talked about it last night as the poker tournament didn't happen, but we still broke down some college basketball. And we had Kelly in Vegas on, and, we talked about it a little bit. Is this a down year for the Big 12? Were they overrated coming into postseason play? Can we use that to our advantage and maybe fading them? I think so. But this TCU team is playing their best basketball right now. Jamie Dixon has this team playing well. They're motivated. They want to go to New York. From all the articles that I've read on this game, TCU sounds very motivated. And they've also performed well in this NIT. This would be their second NIT championship in just 3 years. So they've performed well in the NIT. It makes me not really want to fade them. In fact, with their 3-point defense, their defense overall of late, I actually look towards the Horned Frogs at home to punch a ticket to get to Madison Square Garden.
Interesting look, backing TCU at home over Creighton. They looked awesome. Just awesome on Sunday night. I had them first half, but really wish that I doubled up. They were just completely in control of that whole game. I like that look as well, TCU, minus 3.5. God, they look good. So I've tailed Drew's first play. I may tail him again here. I'm going to take a little time to think about that. Love these breakdowns, Drew. What else are you looking at?
All right, the CIT tournament, the College Basketball Invitational. FIU versus Wisconsin Green Bay. FIU is a team I know we've discussed a lot. It's a team that they're only about 20 miles from my house here, so I read a lot about them. The Golden Panthers from Conference USA going against the Horizon team in Green Bay. 177.5 the total, -4 Green Bay laying in this one. And you can see by the total, this is going to be an up and down game. Both of these two teams top 10 in terms of offensive tempo. FIU is the #1 team in terms of offensive tempo. And really Jamie Ballard, their head coach, he's a Shaka Smart disciple. So they play that kind of wild defense, trapping, pressing all the time, trying to turn their opponents over. And in the Horizon League, there just wasn't a lot of teams doing that. It was more slow paced, regular offensive, just not much pressing at all, not much trapping. And Green Bay in the Horizon League had some issues holding on to the ball. Their turnover percentage is not very good. Their offensive rebound percentage is not very good. So I could see FIU getting extra possessions. And they're not going from Miami to Green Bay. An interesting tidbit here, they're going from Texas to Green Bay. They never went home. They just took the flight after their win on Saturday, and they headed up north. I think that will help them with their travel. I like FIU here, Jimmy, catching the points. I like the Golden Panthers for my best bet for today.
Wow, backing FIU as your best bet. God, these are great breakdowns. I'm tailing TCU -3.5 and -105. I love what I saw on Sunday. One of my rare college basketball winners over the last week and a half have been getting slaughtered. FIU, a very, very interesting look and great tidbit of information there that they didn't go back to Florida. Wow, great stuff. Love those 3 plays. Beautiful. And have you looked into Presbyterian Marshall? We know that Max loves his Presby squad, or Charleston Southern Hampton.
No, I haven't. I mean, I would, like you're saying, Max has been on that team all year long, a moneymaker for him. So I wouldn't talk you off of that side, that's for sure. But he definitely knows these 2 teams better than me and haven't spent much time on them. So don't want to lead any of the low baggers astray.
Oh, no, you do a great job with us. Beautiful. Alaska Marv says, SBR, have a poker tonight. Woo, yes. And shout out to Chicago Kid joining us. Yes, I am excited. Very excited to be doing the poker tournament tonight. And Drew will be there alongside, which is wonderful. So, yes, don't forget, SBR tournament tonight. The winner gets the all-expenses-paid trip to Minnesota, and there's cash for other spots. So I'm very, very excited about it. And Alaska Marv will be rolling with us. Okay, let's talk about we broke down a bunch of spots on Friday and Saturday here, and the main one was Texas Tech. And you guys loving Texas Tech, and they're now 1.5s on the board. So money coming in on them. There were 2s across the board, and now they're still 2s, but there's a 1.5 at -105 at Pinnacle, 1.5 at 5 dimes at -105. That is interesting. And there's still 8s available at some books for Virginia, but I don't know how long those are going to be hanging around. And Virginia Tech, it keeps going down against Duke. So now there's only 1 7.5 left, and that's at 5 dimes. I loved breaking down everything that was going on in the Sweet 16 with you. And I think that the most appealing spot for me still is Virginia. And I will also be jumping on Florida State. Has anything changed from you sleeping on all of our breakdowns? Your favorite spot moving forward in the Sweet 16 at this point is what, Drew?
I still like Virginia, and look, the market has pushed it from 8 to 8.5 at some shops, so we're losing value here, but there are still some 8s out there. I'm sticking with what our conversation last night. I like this Virginia team knocking down their free throws, playing good defense, can score better than in years past, going against a Oregon from the Pac-12, a 12 seed that, again, made it out of that kind of weaker sub bracket there with, in my opinion anyway, Cal, Irvine, Kansas State, and Wisconsin. So I think they benefited from that, and they're going to play one of the best teams in the country. So I'm on Virginia -8, and I would recommend it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I haven't taken it yet, and I should. Tormion says, Oregon likes to play fast. Virginia will slow the pace down. Why don't we take a quick look at the total in that Virginia-Oregon game while we have Drew right now. Open at 118.5, and it has gone up. So it was 118s and 118.5s last night when we were talking about it. Now 119s across the board. What do you think about this total from an early look, Drew?
We were breaking up just a little bit, but which game were you talking about?
Virginia-Oregon. There were 118.5s before, and now we got 119s.
Yeah, for the total. I mean, Virginia, is going to control the tempo. They do against pretty much every team they play. I think they're the more talented team here. So I just don't see a lot of possessions. And they're both not going to really push it. It's just I think Virginia can score better this year, man. So I'm kind of hesitant to bet their unders, especially 119 and a half here. I would actually lean over, gun to head if you made me bet it. But I'm really not interested in betting this total, man.
Well, Drew, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry we didn't have enough time to break that down more, but I love your plays, and I've tailed too, and I may be tailing FIU. Need a little more time to break that game down. But Wichita State, Indiana, I got the under 138 at Bovada at minus 115. Noli knows, and Drew got it at under 137.5. I'm also tailing TCU minus 3.5 at minus 105, and I may make a move on FIU. Drew, thank you so much for joining us. I know you are so busy this time of year, so it means the world that you join us. Where can we find you on Twitter, and what other shows you got going on this week?
Dude, thanks for having me, Jimmy. It's always fun, man. And I'll be back tomorrow at 11:45, 11:50, whenever you need me, at Drew Martin Betts on Twitter. And Max and I's show is 4 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Pacific, every day this week. So come join us later today, tomorrow, Thursday. We'll be breaking down college basketball. So excited to see everybody. And best of luck out there, low baggers.
Sweet. And you can find Drew and I together tonight in the Bovada Poker Tournament, which I'm excited about. Thank you guys all so much for joining our early show. We have a lot of work to do in the afternoon, and then we'll be back this evening with Ski Profit, who's straight fire right now, and Maxwell Smart. So we're going to have a great, great late show. Let me go over my NHL plays again. I'm on the Hurricanes Capitals under 6 at plus 100. Islanders money line at plus 145. I'm on the Senators money line at plus 108. And I'm on the Canucks minus 1.5 at plus 205. And if you're asking me what my favorite look on this card is, it's the Canucks. It is the Vancouver Canucks at minus 1.5 at plus 205. I think that we're getting an enormous value against a Ducks team that may or may not have Getzlaf in the lineup, won't have Nick Shore, may or may not have Nick Shore. And the Canucks, because they lost 5-0, we're getting all this value, and I think we have to take advantage of it. I am taking advantage of it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And most importantly, Leche, Alos Bookmakers!